What's going on, everybody? We are back with another edition of the Ad Podcast coming to you from IAB in Palm Springs. We've got Jason White, the CEO of Mula, here at IAB. How's it going, man?
Good, Dylan. Thanks, man.
So tell the audience who might not know a little bit about yourself. What are you guys doing, and what are you up to at IAB this week?
Yeah, longtime publisher executive. I mean, I've been on the marketing side, but I guess I went to the dark side about a decade or so ago. CBS, Arena Group,
Okay.
Fox, and recently, the era of AI, we decided to build a operating system for publishers so that they can ultimately, keep people engaged on their site longer. And give them the same experience that you have on the walled gardens and social media platforms. They shouldn't own that. And publishers need it now more than ever, especially, with traffic constraints and whatnot with LLM search. Keep people engaged on the site longer, give them compelling content and a feed type execution.
So on the note of traffic constraints, a big topic this week has been the impact of AEO and the idea that 60% of searches on Google no longer result in a click. You've got the AI space investing heavy in technology, heavy in software, but they're not investing in the thing that trains all their models, which is content. What are your thoughts, and how did that kind of come to life for you this week?
My whole thing is always, and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of full circle. Like I was saying earlier, I started off as a marketer. I think that publishers have to become marketers. I think that publishers for the longest time were really good at growth because that was essentially free, and really good at monetization. Those were kind of the two legs of the stool, so to speak. But now there's got to be this third leg, which is the user, and they got to invest in CDPs and data lakes and build an understanding of a user graph. And unfortunately, that's very expensive. And so that's why we saw an opportunity to come out there and be an operating system that is built on top of things like, CDPs and data lakes, understands the user, has a user graph, recommends content based on who the user is and the content on the page. Publishers are, have an advantage ultimately because they have better information on their page to decision and give good content experiences. The walled gardens don't have that. Publishers have that. So they need to, invest in also traffic acquisition. I don't think that MFA is a bad word anymore.
Interesting.
But different. It's not, publishers aren't made for ads. They do need to buy traffic, though, and bring users to their sites. And it doesn't need to look like a NASCAR. You can actually get away with less ads on the page if you extend the session longer and keep them on the page longer. So that's our view of the world.
Do you feel like there are good opportunities for arbitrage for publishers still? What are some of the white spaces that you're seeing?
Yeah, when I was at CBS, 10 to 20% of our traffic, I built a business of traffic acquisition. It was responsible. We didn't have a bunch of ads on the page. We love things like Sincera and what they're doing and keeping that space legitimate. And if you do look at the revenue per session, keep people engaged on the page longer, and you look at that on a daily basis and you buy traffic against that, you can absolutely make that affordable. We had 35% margins on that business. And at CBS, we didn't have NASCARs on our pages. We just kept people on the site longer because it was more of a premium experience. So you absolutely can do responsible traffic acquisition. I think publishers will lean into that. Newsletter growth, I think that's important. Content distribution networks, things like Yahoo, Apple News Plus, all of those things become way more important for push notifications. I think that, if any publisher is sitting on the sidelines not doing push notifications, I think that's important too.
What do you think about the different layers of monetization through things like subscriptions, monetizing your super fans, having some type of a premium experience? Obviously, the news sites that people can't live without have done a really good job of monetizing, being the destination homepage for news every morning. But what are the opportunities for subscribers in non-news publications?
100%. I think that, so first of all, one of the things we learned at Arena is when you ask for an email, people will actually give it to you if you have a brand. And so that's just like asking for the Google, email wall. And that's not a hard wall. That's just asking for it.
Are you talking about the OAuth?
Yeah, OAuth, yeah. Mm-hmm. But then, absolutely. If you have something that's of value, 100% that should be, gated off and subscribed to. But also, I think publishers are learning you got to leverage that brand. Like, build that brand. Think about it. Traditional publishing and media was driven by individuals. People would come to a channel because you had certain talent there, a certain actor or certain broadcaster, Tom Brokaw, so on and so, Jane Pauley, yada yada yada. That's going to become more important. Like, the days of free traffic are pretty much gone. I mean, it'll be a taper off, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. So you are going to have to invest in the brand. When you invest in the brand, you invest in personas, you invest in subscription products. All of those things are relevant.
So one other place where publishers are getting squeezed right now is their talent are breaking off and creating competitive businesses. We had a couple of all-stars from eMarketer leave the publication recently and immediately had blue checks on LinkedIn if they didn't already have them before. Yep. CAA signed them as creators. They're being flown out to Abu Dhabi for the 1 billion Creator Summit. They become rock stars when they leave and launch their own brand. And these are literally like B2B commentators or B2B
that's
creator economy. Yeah, exactly.
That's what we were talking about. That's
so how do publishers hold on to those people, or is it just an inevitable thing where eventually they're gonna, want to spread their wings and do their own thing?
Yeah. Once you get to a certain level, then you can become your own publisher, and that's a great thing. I mean, you graduate, but I kind of look at it as like baseball. It's like you kind of have a minor league system, right? You grow it. You develop that talent, and it's like people that have worked for me in the past. I love mentoring people, and like when they're ready to spread their wings, like fly, baby, fly.
I love it. That's a good optimistic point of view.
Yeah, totally.
So, why is IAB important? Why do you need to be here every year?
I think that the roadmaps that they put out, especially the IAB Tech Lab, I think what Tony Katzer is doing is God's work. I think he's got to work with so many different factions, everybody over there at the Tech Lab. That's the thing that I'm keen on, and making sure that my roadmap maps back to that. And so that's kind of the key thing here. And then the fact that everybody's here, serendipity happens. Just being in the lobby.
There we go. We made it onto the show, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, any big takeaways that you're going to bring back to the team and try and execute? Anything that kind of is sticking with you to bring back to the office and talk to the team about?
Yeah, I think. I think continuing to have the agent-to-agent evolution. We're a purely agentic platform. We've got 5 core agents that work through an MCP. So seeing that evolve with a lot of the things that the Tech Lab is pioneering, with the negotiation layers that are going to go up on top of the things that we've already streamlined and have created specs for. So that's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see people on the buy side with their agents communicating with people on the supply side, our agents on behalf of our publishers, and trade inventory. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah, it's an interesting evolution for sure. This idea of, I feel like the first AI hype cycle was just like AI, and then you had to have it in some way, and then it feels like this year is the agentic, agentic is the hype cycle. So you are seeing true use cases within your guys' tools already where you can say, agent, go do XYZ, and they fully execute the task?
Brother, I've got 7 people that work in my company, and we've got the power of like 30.
Wow.
I've got agents working for me. I'm spinning plates. My head of engineering is spinning plates and has agents working for him. My head of product, Josh Markham, has a handful of agents that are working for him. I mean, it's a brand new world, man.
That is wild.
And the cost to compute is like nothing.
That's crazy. So it really does level the playing field from the perspective of cost is now no longer. I mean, they showed the graph yesterday. What was it like? Chat 4 was at $60,
totally,
and then it's down to like 30 cents or something now.
That's nothing. And revenue pays for it.
Yeah,
it's not even a line on my P&L, man.
That is crazy. All right, what's the number one prediction that you have for this year for our industry?
I think the future's bright, man. I mean, I think, what we were just talking about, anybody with a great idea has zero barrier to create pioneering solutions. So, just watch the space and just watch what unfolds. It's exciting.
I love it. All right, if people who watch want to learn more about you, connect with you directly, where would you like to send them?
Jason.white@offlinestudio.com or make Mula.
Love it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Appreciate your time.
Take care.